Hi, I am Storyteller. I know that you will sleep while watching the video, so like and subscribe for more videos. Also tell in the comment section that from where are you watching this and at what time. So let's start the video. This is a story about something that could happen to anyone. A normal house, a regular person, and a night that started just like any other. But sometimes when you think you're safe, that's when the horror starts. And it's not always the noises that scare you. Sometimes it's what you see. A young woman in her 20s pulling into her driveway after work. She steps out of her car, grabs her purse, and walks up to her front door. It's quiet, peaceful. She looks around briefly. Her neighbors' houses are still. All is calm. She enters her house and shuts the door behind her. Emily had lived here for a while. She knew her neighbors. There was the older couple, Mr. and Mrs. Jensen, who lived next door. They were quiet, too quiet. But Emily didn't think much of it. She liked it that way. Inside, Emily sets down her things, grabs a glass of water, and heads to her bedroom to change out of her work clothes. As she walks past the living room window, she notices that the lights in the Jensen's house are on. The blinds are closed, but just slightly parted. She shrugs it off. It's later that evening. Emily is sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. The house is quiet, only the sound of the clock ticking in the background. Suddenly, she hears something. A faint tapping noise coming from the window. At first, it's easy to dismiss small noises. A tap, a creak. It's probably just the wind, right? But sometimes it's the quiet things that make you feel uneasy. Emily pauses and listens. The tapping continues. She gets up and walks to the window. Her heart starts to race, but she tells herself it's nothing. She pulls back the curtain and looks outside. At first, there's nothing, just the empty street. But then she notices something. A figure standing in the shadows by the Jensen's house. It's hard to make out, but it looks like someone is standing there, watching her. It's the way the figure doesn't move, just standing there in the dark, that makes you feel like something's wrong. Emily blinks, and when she looks back, the figure is gone. She tells herself it's just her imagination, but a cold chill runs down her spine. The next day, Emily tries to put the strange event behind her, but every time she walks past the window, she feels uneasy. The feeling that someone is watching her never goes away. That night, as she sits in the living room, she hears it again, the same tapping. It's louder this time, closer. It's funny how a sound can make you freeze. You try to tell yourself it's nothing, but deep down, you know something isn't right. Emily's heart beats faster as the tapping grows louder. It sounds like footsteps now. She quickly looks toward the window, but doesn't dare open the curtain. Her breath catches in her throat. The footsteps stop right outside the window. She steps back from the window, her hands trembling. There's no way anyone could be out there. She didn't hear a door open. No car arrived. But the footsteps are still there, right outside, standing still. Emily can't take it anymore. The next day, she decides to go next door to ask Mr. Jensen about the noises. Maybe it's just a mistake, something simple like a neighbor doing yard work. She walks to the front door and rings the bell. Mr. Jensen opens it slowly, looking at her with tired eyes. "Hi, Mr. Jensen. I just wanted to ask, I've been hearing strange noises at night. I thought I saw someone standing outside my window. Has anyone been around here?" Mr. Jensen looks at her, his face tense. He glances over his shoulder, as though making sure no one is listening. "I don't know what you're talking about, Emily. But we've been having some problems lately too. Strange things happening around here." He looks around nervously, then steps back and opens the door wider, gesturing for her to come inside. Emily hesitates but follows him into the house. They walk down a narrow hallway into the basement. There's something off about the way Mr. Jensen is acting. Something he doesn't want Emily to know. Something dark. They reach a small door at the back of the basement. It's locked. Mr. Jensen unlocks it with a shaky hand. As the door creaks open, a horrible smell hits Emily's nose. Like mold, but something worse. Something old. Inside, there's a small room with just a chair in the middle, a chair facing the window. Emily steps closer and sees something horrifying. Photographs pinned to the wall. Pictures of her, taken through her window. Emily shakingly said, "What? What is this?" Mr. Jensen whispers. "Someone's been watching you. For a long time now." Mr. Jensen steps back, his face pale. Emily feels a wave of nausea wash over her. She turns to look at the window the chair is facing. There in the dark, the small window faces her house. The blinds in her own house were always slightly open, just enough for someone to watch her. Emily turns to Mr. Jensen, her voice trembling. Who's been watching me?" Mr. Jensen doesn't answer right away. He lowers his head, avoiding her gaze. Then he speaks in a low, trembling voice. It's my son. He's been gone for years now. But when he left something behind, something that's never really stopped watching. He's always there, always." Emily's breath catches in her throat. She feels a sudden cold dread wash over her. The camera lingers on the pictures of Emily, taken in the dead of night from her own window. Some things don't leave, they wait. And when you think you're alone, that's when they watch the closest. I'm still watching. Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more and take care.